Welcome, Black Hollywood Live fans. You're watching the Aftershow for Queen Sugar. Tonight we are covering episodes 1 and 2. Stay tuned for more. Welcome, Queen Sugar fans. We are back. Oh, it's been a long time, but we're excited to be back. My name is Shaka Smith. You guys can find me on Instagram, Twitter, and Snapchat at Shaka Strong.
My name is Anjy Scates. I'm glad to be back, and you can find me on Twitter at Anjy_Skates and on the gram at Big_Anj.
Hi guys, I'm Mo. I'm the newbie on the panel, but definitely glad to be here. And you can find me on Instagram and Twitter at MO Classified.
Hey, what's up, everybody? It's Kelli Scates. You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at TheUrbanGypsyLA. I'm so glad to be back.
Yes, wow. We got a nice little doubleheader 2-night premiere.
Yes.
It was so nice for me, at least, to remember how much the show fills me up, right?
Right.
Just to watch good television.
I forgot.
Right?
I really forgot.
You forget a little
I didn't
bit.
forget. I've been anticipating like for a long. When the last episode went off, I already had withdrawals like the next week. I was like, OMG, I'm not gonna be able to deal with this.
It's like they brought the heat again, even like in more fierce fashion.
Right.
Yeah, I got a chance to go to the premiere of the season 1 and just hear Ava and Oprah and those guys talk about what they're doing. One interesting thing I found was that they almost had to hire new writers for the new directors, for the season, because a lot of their female directors that they had were working.
Yes.
So it was beautiful to hear that.
That's awesome. Put them
like,
on the map.
Yeah, Ava got calls for them, and she would call them and be like, "Oh, I can't do it. I'm booked for like 2 more years." You know. So, so yeah, what they're doing is just groundbreaking on all levels. So it's pretty amazing.
That's goals, to be booked for 2 years.
Yeah, right.
Trying to get like
Make
that.
a couple calls for me.
Right. So yeah, this is just a great, beautiful show, and it starts off real beautiful too.
Yes.
We had some real sexiness with Ralph, Angel, and Darla. What do you guys think of that opening scene?
For episode 1 or episode 2?
Episode 1, yeah.
Episode 1, we opened with Nova again, like we did the first season.
Yeah.
Which I paid attention because I remember that first season with Nova with her dreads, and then we saw her again, and the white man is leaving her house.
Yes.
And so we're seeing her again in a conflicted relationship.
Yeah, well, it's not quite who we think it might be.
No, and it's more white guys, and she doesn't. She just seems to be really aloof, or not really in it for the romance. It's just like a hang and bang kind of a thing.
Yeah. She almost looks disappointed in herself. It's weird.
You think so? Yeah, I would say so. And I feel like everybody else was kind of, the comeback, it made it seem like everybody else kind of had it together this season, where she's just like, no, I'm still the same as last season.
Yeah.
Like, still doing my thing.
Yeah.
Don't care.
I feel like she's grown though. Like I don't know. Maybe I just forgot. I guess she's always been like a community organizer, but she just seems to be going times 10 now. Feels like.
See, that's where her passion lies, but I feel like everywhere else it kind of just like falls by the wayside, you know.
Yeah.
But I feel like her and Charley actually seem better.
They're closer.
Yeah,
they seem like
closer.
a lot calmer, you know, just like being able to coincide with each other.
Definitely.
And what do you guys think about the dynamic between Charley and Davis?
You ain't shit.
That's what she
Yeah. Well, no, we can talk about all of it. Yeah.
I feel like she's just conflicted too, because she wants to be done with him, but obviously she can't because of Micah. And then with her business deal, it's like that anguish of, oh my gosh, I just have this brilliant idea. I've done all the legwork, and you're telling me that I have to have Davis on it when I built that brand too, you know? So I don't really need him because I could build whatever I want, you know?
It's almost a little bit of the struggle of sort of the female that's empowering the male, but now she's so tied to him and she can't get from underneath.
Right.
Yes.
And then even the situation in the club, like I feel like even though she's over him or she wants to be done with him, at the same time, you know, they were married for so long, you can't just be done with him or be over him that easily.
When he got his arm around Boo Baby.
Yeah. So she's like, what do you think you're doing?
Yeah.
And it's kind of like, first off, what do you think you're doing out in public with her? What do you think you're doing, like, moving on that fast?
But should she expect anything different?
I'm about to ask Shaka, what do you think about that as a man? Like, was he wrong for that?
I don't think he was wrong for that. I think, look, everything's over. It's done, you know.
It's not over all the way.
It's not.
They're still married.
But they're not married, you know.
Right.
In reality, they're not married, and we know how Charley feels about Davis. So of course it's time to move on, and you know what better to kind of just take a break and maybe have a moment for yourself.
It's always so easy for you guys.
But why is it okay
just move right along?
Yeah, but why is it okay for Charley to be seen in public with Remy, but not okay for Davis to be seen in public with other women?
But how he was, I guess, with her was all caked up and around and in the club, and I feel like Remy and Charley aren't like PDA people in public, you know. Like
and
it's
Remy,
just like.
I'm sorry.
Go ahead. Yeah.
And Remy even said he didn't want to go grab a drink with her until she was really done with Davis. So he's like, he's not even trying to be seen in public with her on that level. They go out and they're doing business.
Yeah. And I feel like they have more substance to their relationship where Davis is just doing his thing, like just trying to get over the situation.
And he's the one that messed up. He's the reason why they're getting divorced. So he needs to chill a little bit.
But because you're getting divorced and you're the reason why, doesn't mean now you have to like
take a few
be
steps.
independent.
You come into my childhood home town and you're hanging out like
you
take
just
her
keep
somewhere
embarrassing
private.
me.
But why is he in the childhood town?
Because of
Anyways?
her.
Exactly.
So he's
Why
like,
is he-
oh, well, since I'm here, might as well have fun.
Yeah, like even speaking of that scene, you know, he wants to join custody, but really it was because she placed him in New Orleans. Not New Orleans, Louisiana.
Right.
And so it was really her doing that caused it. So she brought it on herself in some ways.
I think that Charley is struggling with her self-identity. Like, she was wife to Davis. She was this powerful businesswoman. She is mother to Micah. But, like, the space between her and Davis and then the space that's being driven between her and Micah, I feel like she doesn't really know who she is anymore. Exactly. And she's struggling with that.
Yeah, and I feel like she's used to being a powerful woman, but now it's like she didn't know, or maybe she's second guessing, like, okay, maybe I was only powerful because of him. Because I feel like she stepped out thinking, oh, I'm a powerful woman regardless. And then them throwing that loan, like, oh no, we need his signature, man. I feel like she's like, wow, maybe I'm not as powerful as I thought I was.
Right.
Yeah.
Even with all the numbers, it still wasn't enough.
And
that I'm pretty sure it was a great presentation, just because we know Charley.
Yeah. And was anyone surprised by how quickly she signed Davis's name?
I was wondering why she didn't do it earlier. I'm like, so what's the problem?
Right.
I was a little shocked.
I was like, ooh, that's a good idea.
No, I actually thought she was gonna like get his consent.
Me too.
Yeah, I thought she would try to get the consent, but she was like, no.
Right.
And she's used to she's probably used to doing that with his consent anyways. So she just like
true. You don't get to be a powerful businesswoman by second guessing and not making slick decisions like that.
Right.
Following the rules.
And now on to a little bit better couple, Vi and Hollywood.
Oh, my favorite.
Oh gosh.
Hollywood is such a good man.
Right.
He's a good man.
Do y'all have favorites on the couples on the show?
Well, Vi and Hollywood was my favorite couple for
Mine
sure.
too.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't know if y'all had already discussed that
Yeah,
last
I'm
season. Like,
kind of starting to like Ralph Angel and Darla. No.
I don't dislike them, but they're not my favorite.
I don't dislike them either, but now I'm starting to feel like Ralph Angel's deeper in than she is, and I feel like I can like foresee her possibly leaving him.
It feels like she will, or she gonna fall off the wagon like we all predicted in season 1.
Yeah.
Either way, it happened. She's going to meetings and she's like struggling with stuff.
Well, even when I wrote it down, I was thinking, you know, they want us to think that, but I think she would leave him even outside of that. Like that wouldn't even be the reason that she left.
Really?
Like, she might find another man or something and just be wooed by him.
She seems really tied to Blue, and I think she does seem tied to Ralph Angel because I think the way she explained her addiction, it just came from a very honest place. And I think it was like the best way for me to understand it as someone who's not an addict, because sometimes you can't understand why do you need that separation. I don't get it, but she explained it kind of very beautifully.
She did, and that was one of my favorite scenes from this episode 1. Yeah, the way that she broke that down, because like you said, a lot of people that don't know, and for them to be in such close proximity, he's gonna have some sensitivity and some kind of understanding as to what she's going through. Otherwise, it ain't gonna work.
Yeah, I really appreciated that, but I kind of agree with you. I think like how you even said for Charley, like Darla's still finding herself and she's in a new position and she's getting clean. So I feel like there is a chance that she might kind of find herself and still be tied to Blue, but decide Ralph Angel's not necessarily the one for her.
I just got a prediction, but I'll hold it for the end.
Okay.
And so we fast forward to Micah, and you know, Dad is trying to buy Micah's love, which is, you know, great, I guess, when you get a new car.
That car was... off the hook.
Right?
For a 16-year-old.
Right.
Yeah.
I wouldn't even felt comfortable driving that car.
Oh, I would have.
I got no problem.
No, and Micah had no problems either.
Right.
Until we get to this sort of critical moment that we already talked about a little bit beforehand when he gets stopped. What did you guys think about that moment, you know, especially in the context of
What's going on?
Philando Castile? We can talk about these, you know, endlessly.
I just know that every time I see the lights or feel the siren or hear the sirens behind me, there's just a moment of terror that I feel because of my own experiences with the police. I've been held at gunpoint. I have had lots of experience with the police that are not okay. So whenever you feel that, it's just like, it's paralyzing terror. So I felt the same, like, oh shit, Micah, no, not Micah. He's such an innocent little baby. But we all know how it goes.
I was nervous for him because you could tell he got some rules on what to do when that happens. You saw him like hold the steering wheel and things like that, but it's still that, okay, well, that doesn't necessarily secure your safety, and you're new to this, so how are you going to handle this, Micah? Are you going to get out of here alive? Right. That's the question.
And I love that it touched on so many dynamics because it was this dynamic of wealthy, recognizable fame, because, you know, all of a sudden, you know, he's thrown in there like garbage. Like they pay no attention to him. Charley gets there, they don't recognize her. So it wasn't until Davis got there, and it was celebrity and fame that kind of got him out of it. What do you guys think of like how that kind of comments on everything, really?
It's real. If you have money, you have power in this life, in this world, and that's just how it works. People that are prosecuted differently is because of their race and their class, and that's real life. Like, if you don't have that status or that celebrity or that money, you gonna rot in jail.
Yeah,
like,
just think about the celebrities that go to jail now. Lil Wayne, T.I., you know, Kevin Gates, everybody. I feel like if it was just a normal person that wasn't a celebrity, the extent of, you know, the sentences would be extreme.
Right. Do you guys think that Charley was right for saying that he was tap dancing, though?
Oh, you mean Davis?
Davis.
Yeah.
No, I don't think she was right at all, because he did what he had to do to get his son out,
and
like that's what you're supposed to do.
Right. Yeah. Like, I feel like Charley would have did that if that was her position.
Exactly. Yeah. Or if she had that clout.
Yeah.
I think that she was just emotionally just out of control in that moment and irate, and I don't have kids, so I can't imagine, but I can imagine someone that I love being in that position. So she was just not emotionally in the place that she needed to be to negotiate with these people.
I think it was that, as well as what we talked about earlier, like she's not as powerful as she thinks she is. So she thinks she can just walk in and say, give me my son, and it's like, no. You need a little bit more leverage, ma'am. That's not gonna get it.
I think she's resenting
was just like taken back, like, oh my goodness,
because I would have thought her first emotion would have been gratitude and like, oh, thank God, you took a selfie with the guy just to do whatever you had to do, but she was upset at the wrong moment. He just
like,
got out of jail.
Yeah, like, be happy about that.
Yeah, but I thought it was a very tender moment with Nova, and kind of that brought them together when she sees that he's like peed himself essentially, and she grabbed him. I thought that was just like a very, because we don't see much of them together, Nova and Micah, and we get a lot more of that in episode 2. What did you guys think about? I love that whole bail fund that she's trying to raise, because it's such a real issue. I saw it, like, I'm also an attorney, and I saw it when I was working in the jails that people could not get out, and little amounts of bail, but you lose your job. You might get your family kicked out. You come back and you've lost so much, and you're having to rebuild. And some people are in jail 1-2 years, like on ridiculous charges. Right. What do you guys feel about that?
It's another moment of art reflecting real life, and Ava does that very well with the show, specifically. And I don't know.
Yeah, I agree. It's real, and it's necessary, and that's what I think we love about Nova, is that she's always pushing these things that everybody know is an issue, but everybody does not always do the work to help fix it. So she's always doing that work. And I would just
hope that maybe this gives people in reality some ideas.
Like Jay-Z
Father's Day,
and then they did the same thing. It was the same organization that was billing out mothers for Mother's Day. Jay-Z was billing out fathers for Father's Day.
That's so
it was the same organization? I didn't know it was the same.
Same organization.
Yeah, just getting fathers out for Father's Day. I mean, it's such a huge thing, because it really attacks the family, and really the black family for the most part. That's where it's aimed at.
Right.
And so when you start to break it down on that level, and then all of a sudden your kids, and then it's systemic, and then it just follows one after the other. But I don't know why other shows don't reflect this type of reality.
Right.
Because they don't have an award all-star cast and crew like Queen Sugar does, like Ava and Oprah put together. Come on now.
Right. And then we kind of move on to Ralph Angel and this little soybean idea.
What is it, Blues Corner?
Blues Corner. What do you guys think about him venturing on his own and trying to kind of strike out?
I'm liking it. Yeah, because I feel like he's grown as, you know, an individual and a father on the show. Like, I feel like he was a good father last season, but I feel like he's an even better father this season, only 2 episodes in. Yeah. But I feel like he's just growing and, like, you know, being more patient in all aspects of life and just, like, you know, keeping his composure and not just, like,
that's true.
You know, being extra like he usually is, just having a temper.
But doesn't he seem to always make mistakes, even when he's well-intentioned?
Right, but I feel like that's a part of, like, him learning, like, how to do this, like, how to really be the leader of this farm. Like, his father was doing all of this, and I feel like he wasn't prepared to, like, take on that role and that responsibility. So, of course, it's going to be, you know, it's just like growing up. Like, it's mistakes, and you learn from them, and then eventually you're a master of it all.
I agree, but I think sometimes some of the issues because they don't take him serious. So I feel like if they opened the door a little bit and allowed conversation and to really listen to him and then tell him why or why not that may not be a good idea and discuss it, then he wouldn't have as many mistakes. He's still gonna make mistakes. He's human and he's learning, but they don't give him this. Well, not even they. Charley doesn't give him the space to make the mistakes and grow and learn from it.
I feel like they all don't communicate well. Period. Yeah. So not just like Charley's not giving him a chance. I feel like they all should just communicate as siblings better.
Well,
but Charley purposefully does stuff to thwart him in his progress.
Yep,
and
that's
like
true.
when you see him in season 1, episode 1, he's like robbing the store while Blue plays with his dog Kenya. And in this season, he's like wearing a tie. He has money. He's taking the family out. He's grown so much. And I feel like if they give him that space, he will continue. Well, if Charley gives him that space, he'll continue to grow.
Because at this point, he has to make moves in silence first because he already knows how they're going to respond. So he's not even thinking of telling them first. He's trying to do everything behind the scenes.
I don't know. I'm a little nervous because I think especially this season or the couple episodes we watched, the music seems to be like another character.
Yes.
I love that.
I noticed when he was talking about the soybean crop, there's a sad song playing, and it was like, as he's talking about it, the words, "You better think twice, darling."
Yes.
And you might be so sorry.
Yeah.
And I'm like, is this a good idea? Like,
right.
are they
foreshadowing?
Yeah. And he always like has his ideas, and he doesn't share them with the people, and then all of a sudden they kind of blow up.
Right.
So I'm hoping like the soybean is like not something that'll take over the sugar cane and kill it or something weird that I don't know about.
Something we don't know, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
But then Remy would have said something. Remy is an experienced farmer, and he has him in his corner. It sounds like, feels like, and I'm excited about that kind of a duo.
And I was gonna say
that was his dad's friend. Like he was with it as well. He was just like,
Yeah, and that's why I don't think we've seen too many like strong black men relationships here, and I love that Remy and I was gonna say Remy and Kofi, Remy and Ralph Angel are like really connecting. You see that there's almost that brotherhood and that familiarity.
Right.
Even between him and Hollywood, I like their dynamic too.
Yeah. You got Hollywood coming back. Nova and DeAndre.
Who? Oh, that's the barber?
D, yeah.
Okay.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah.
That's the barber that she's been flirting with, the black guy.
Yeah, that she was kind of a little savage with and was like, look.
Exactly. Just like she said, like, she's just in it for the fun. And he's just, like, serious. Like, I really want you.
Yeah. I love that dynamic. Did you?
Too.
Yeah,
I do too.
Maybe it'll...
Go ahead.
I'm thinking maybe it'll grow. Like maybe that'll be the reason she stops messing with the white man.
Yeah,
like maybe
I think
it'll
she
grow
needs it. Like, because even in the first episode when she's out with her homegirls and she's talking about relationships, you could tell she doesn't really believe in them that well, and so she needs somebody to come and show her. She's probably been hurt tremendously by black men, and that's why she's just dealing with these other men
and women.
Exactly. Like, she out here wilding. So
because she does have a heart for black men in the prison system, but it's like if they're not locked up or going through something, she's like, okay, whatever.
That's true. I didn't even think of it that way. Yeah.
But you know how that's sometimes like that's a stigma where like the most Afrocentric woman usually ends up with the white man, and it's like, well, how did that happen? It's like, I don't know. I think it's interesting to see that
play out.
I wonder how that'll play out. But I felt some good dynamics between the two. We see a lot in episode 2. Micah seems a little shook by this experience.
Right.
My take on it, I thought he was a little too shook. Was he in jail for an hour, maybe 30 minutes? I mean, I loved the message and the reflection of what I was seeing, but the experience that he had didn't seem to necessarily match the emotion that I saw, being portrayed. What do you guys think about it?
I
Y'all had different views.
Jail is a very scary place, and you have a 15, 16-year-old who's extremely privileged, who has never been exposed to this kind of environment, even in, like, certain Black communities. Some people are more, exposed to it. So I think his reaction was very warranted, honestly.
He's not eating. He's trying to take the bus. Don't know how to take the bus. Really?
He was probably already struggling with his identity, and you throw jail on top of that. Like, oh, I don't know how to live in this privileged life no more. Who am I? How do I move forward? I think that's
and the fact that he doesn't even know how to take the bus lets you know how privileged he is. Exactly. Like, this is a culture shock.
Did he pull out a black card? That's what I saw.
And she like, baby, oh no, baby, what is you doing?
He has no idea about this world.
No, I think that was cute. But I agree with everything she said, and then I just feel like in his mind, he knows he did nothing wrong, and I feel like he can't wrap his mind around that. Like, I really went to jail for doing nothing, or I still don't know what I did. Like, maybe he's trying to figure out, like, what did I do? Maybe I did do something wrong, but I just don't know.
Yeah, and I'm also wondering if there's something we haven't heard that happened in the cop car, or that was said to him or done to him. Because that was the only thing that would maybe make more sense, because he's not talking about what happened exactly.
Right.
Because I was just like, why are you this shook? Because you go to jail an hour, you come out, go back to the big house.
Imagine his little self in a holding cell with some big old burly men. Like, who knows what they were saying to him? He looked soft. He looked like someone that you should try.
But he came out, his face was clean, nobody hit him, nobody.
But even Nova, like, she keeps saying, what did the cop say to you? Like,
and
what did he say to you? So I think it'll come out, and maybe it'll match.
Because it to me, it felt like something more must have happened, or something more was said that really, cut him deep at the heart.
Right.
We have Charley calling her mom for support.
I know.
That
never
was like,
heard her.
we were like, wait a minute, we forgot about this whole thing.
I had to rethink. Like, has she ever called her mom, talked about her mom?
Yeah.
None of them had.
No.
Yeah.
Either.
And but she seems close to her because she says that you've always, had something to say.
Right thing to say. Yeah.
So that should be an interesting little reveal. Exactly. And I'm wondering who's going to play the mom, because they cast so well.
So I think the mom is a white woman.
Right? I think the mom is white too, and I think Ralph Angel and Nova have a different mother than Charley.
Yeah, and we think so he probably just stepped out on their mom real quick and then came back.
Mom, right?
And that's why they're so at odds with Charley and who she is as a part of their family.
Yeah, and that might bring up we have the light skin debate, the dark skin debate. That might bring up a lot of that in those issues as well. I thought another issue, they always bring up these real issues that make you really contemplate. When they take Blue out for the dinner, and we have first we have the dynamic of Darla and I guess disciplining and parenting differently. What do you guys think about that it was interesting.
Yeah, I think, you have Ralph Angel looking at Darla like, excuse me, don't talk to my son like that. And she like, look, your son needs to behave and blah, 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 blah. Right. So you have these two parents that are necessary to help shape and mold this person. Right. I think you need both of them. You need both styles.
Yeah,
that's true.
Yeah,
and I agree with both of them. Yeah, I wasn't like, oh yeah, she's wrong for that, or he's wrong for that. Like, I was just like.
But I wonder if Ralph Angel's gonna feel some more ownership of what's happening, because he is the one that's there, for him.
I think I'll save it.
and then we have the little dynamic of I didn't even notice he was playing with a doll. It didn't even occur to me that he was playing with a doll versus like a male female thing.
Right.
Did you guys how did you guys feel about that scene with the waiter?
I was proud of Ralph Angel for standing up for his son. To insinuate that because he's a boy he can't play with dolls is BS. And I'm really proud of Ralph for taking up for Blue, because
but didn't you think he was a little too mad? I was like, the guy was just like, oh, Transformers are cool.
Because we know that's a stigma.
Yeah.
Like, especially in the Black community.
Right. Yeah. And it's like, why not tell him this doll is cool? Like, what he already has in his possession is cool. Like, why change it to something else? But I'm also wondering, like, are they introducing homosexuality into this, or are we just kind of taking it too far?
I think they must be, because or at least the idea of traditional gender roles, And so I thought that, because I didn't even notice it, and then because he's so young, you just figure kids play with whatever.
Right. But then it's interesting too, because the dog came because Darla wasn't in the picture. Like, that was his mom. And so we even kind of start to explore how gender roles are affected by how the black family is disjointed, you know?
Yeah. And we don't see too many, like, single fathers, you know, represented black fathers on TV. So maybe that's also part of this dynamic.
And we wouldn't expect, like, even if it was the single father thing, I feel like we wouldn't expect them to react how Ralph Angel did.
Yeah.
I feel like
we expect
they probably
the
wouldn't
dad
to
be
the one saying, get you a transplant.
Right.
Yeah.
That's true.
So Charley and Remy. So, you know, Charley in her time of need, you know, mom's not picking up. So she goes straight to her go-to.
Right.
Of course, we get a different story here about Remy and Shauna. What did you guys think about that whole, that backstory that we're finally getting from him, too?
I think it's good to get a better look into Remy and who he is and, you know, where he's come from. And it was heartbreaking, again, to bring up the fact that, you know, we're at war in a lot of different countries for stupid reasons. And that affects us here at home too, you know. He lost his wife 4 years ago, but I like the way that this scene was shot because you can hear Remy accounting the details of her death. Right. But you can see Auntie Vi at the bus station hoping that Hollywood gets off that bus and, you know, hoping that he escaped death.
Right?
It was shot so beautifully.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's kind of almost like somebody waiting for their, you know, significant other to get back from war. You know?
Yeah. It was like what Kat Candler directed this one, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And then I also think, I don't know, I just like him, Remy, overall. Like, he's just the epitome of like a real man, I guess.
Team Remy.
Yeah, he's just so real, and he was so transparent with everything, and him admitting, like, I was rushing you. Like, I really liked that part. Like, I was rushing you because I feel like I've been missing my wife for 4 years, and I just want to fill that void.
And you need to mourn the death of your relationship because Charley is just like, she's too hard sometimes, right?
Yeah.
Too hard. And now she's just pissed off with the joint custody. And so she's never had a moment to go, I love this man, and it's over, and I need to, like, just feel that and honor it in some way.
No, I agree. Last season, I was all Team Remy, but now I'm like, oh, well, let's just take it a little slower, you guys, because I don't want Remy to get hurt. Charley, you're not ready, and now we see, Remy, you're not really ready either.
Yeah, and I mean, that scene had me, like, at the edge of my seat because I felt Vi waiting for Hollywood. That bus was obviously very full because I was like, oh, I don't think he's on the bus. I was like, how many people? I thought it was over. I was like, more people kept coming out. I was like, but what a great scene, though, right?
Right.
Just emotionally, it just brought up all these emotions of like, my God, because you could see it on her face.
And I think that was like a good and a bad way for them to reunite. Like, I hate that they had to reunite on those terms of like her not knowing if he was dead or alive. But at the same time, it was just like they didn't have to feel the tension of knowing like, okay, we were just, you know, arguing and into it, and now we're kind of like coming back together. It was just like, no, I love you, we're here.
Right.
I'm glad you're here, you know.
Yeah, that was a great way to kind of wrap it, that one up. And then I think that's what I have. We can go to predictions, right? You guys ready for predictions?
I'm ready.
Anjy, go first. You got them all.
No, I just got one. About Darla. I think that she's going to boss up and take Blue.
Oh.
That's great. I agree. As well as, like I said,
what? You agree? I was going to allow one crazy prediction, but you agree.
Like, I feel like that goes with my other prediction of her leaving him. So she's going to leave with the Blue.
I piggybacked off yours.
Yeah.
I can see that.
I can. And Ralph Angel's going to be so hurt.
Devastated.
Oh my
But he's still going to
gosh.
have to stay for the farm.
I think Darla would be very ballsy to do that because it's not just, that would be her going against the whole family. Like, it's not just Ralph Angel.
She ain't
They
gonna do it
gonna come
tomorrow.
for her.
But she
I
gonna
know,
do it.
but I don't like that prediction.
Yeah.
Right.
What's yours?
I gotta think about one.
Right, I'm trying to think about one too.
I had one earlier, but I forgot it slipped my mind.
Well, we did see and I forgot to mention the scene where Ralph Angel's getting the microloan, and he says, "Oh, I have the letter from the employer and the title."
Right.
And he pulls out that old will. So obviously to me it means that he's going to try to take the entire thing.
That's something that I was thinking too. He's waiting and he's getting everything in order so that he can do that.
Which would probably just blow up everything.
Right,
Right.
of course.
I don't have a prediction, but I do want to know what you guys think. Like, do you think Micah really wanted his dad to have joint custody?
Yes.
You do?
I think after that experience, like, black mothers are everything, but so are black dads. And you need, like I said, with Blue and Ralph Angel and Darla, you need both of those parents there to help guide you and navigate you through this life as a black person, male or female.
And he saw his father's power and respect come through for him. You know,
and regardless of how shitty Davis is in the relationship with Charley, he's a good dad, and he deserves to be that to his son.
Yeah. See, I didn't know for sure, or I didn't know how I felt if Micah really wanted the joint custody or if he was just lying. But I do agree that he should have the joint custody. Like, I didn't think Charley would be that type of woman to be like, no, you're not getting joint custody. I don't see why he could.
I think Charley is still very resentful, and I think she ties up the way she was treated to the way he would be treating Micah.
Right.
I don't know. I'm just thinking back to the scene when Davis and Micah was hugging after he got out of jail. So I feel like Micah's still a little bit upset with his dad, and he's still processing that. But at the same time, I feel like when they hugged, that moment was something that he can't get from anybody else. So it's important.
Yeah, I think Micah might be headed for some trouble, because I do think something more happened, because again, for me, the reaction is like, he's skipping school, he's wandering the city, like what's going on right now? And so to me, I hope it's not drugs or like suicidal or or violent tendencies that come out, but I think he's gonna have some issues.
Right. And I also thought about that when he was saying I need space. I was like, that was strong of Charley to allow that, because she could have been thinking a lot like suicide or him running away. Like, you never know what he could have been thinking in his mind, but just the fact that she still allowed him to have his space and not like, no, you need to come home and I need to protect you. And
that was an emotional scene for me, because my mom was a single mom, so watching her break down, not knowing and having to like, that was like very emotional.
Right.
And also, I think we're gonna, obviously not probably next episode, but we're gonna see some backfire too, as far as Charley signing Davis's name on that contract.
Oh, of course. Yeah.
I thought that's what he wanted to talk about in the divorce room. I was like, did it happen that fast?
I was like, by the way.
No, it's not about the house. It's about this.
No, she covers her tracks well.
And then in Ralph Angel's face.
Yeah, we definitely, I already.
We see there's so many things baking that are just ready to explode. So we'll see how quickly they do. Wow, well, this was a great 2 episodes. I'm sad we're only get 1 next week, but hey. We'll deal with it. Thank you guys for joining us. Again, my name is Shaka Smith. You can find me on Instagram, Twitter, and Snapchat at Shaka Strong.
I am Anjy Scates. You can find me on Twitter at Anjy_Skates and on the gram at Big_Anj.
I'm Mo, guys. Find me on Instagram and Twitter at MO Classified.
And you already know it's your girl Kels. You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at The Urban Gypsy LA.
We'll see you guys later.
Bye.
From executives Kevin Undergaro, Dario Christie, Tiana Hobson, and the entire BHL staff, we would like to thank you for supporting Black Hollywood Live, the first online broadcast network dedicated to African American entertainment. For questions and comments, contact us. info@blackhollywoodlive.com. Like us on Facebook, tweet us, or Instagram us at BHL Online. And I am the official voice of Black Hollywood Live, Scipio. Instagram me at KingXOBay. Thanks for tuning in.
Hollywood Redefined.
The views expressed here are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of BHL or its owners or principals.